Hi, everyone, and welcome back. It's Michelle from Country Morning Creations, and I have a flip through for you today. I am calling this journal Beloved because I actually created this journal for my Beloved Society Bible studies that I do. So this is how they come, and I get these from, actually now she just has an Etsy store, but you can find her Beloved Society on Instagram, and that's probably your best way to get it. So when I get her Bible studies, they come like this. They have a little note. Sometimes they're 2 pages, so there's extras. I love her faceless women. I think for me, I can fill in the faces myself, in a sense that I can make these women look like anybody I want, and I love that part. There's lots of fun things to cut out. I was really excited to find out that her tabs actually work with my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch. They are just the right size for that. So there's all kinds of inspiring stuff, and I wanted to create a journal to hold all of these. And so what I'm going to show you today is my journal Beloved that is not finished, actually. I don't have all the Bible studies in it. I spent yesterday putting the first one in. I had so much fun. I wanted to spread this out over time and not do it all at once. So what you're going to see is pretty much a naked journal with part of it finished, if that makes sense. The papers I used in this are the Petals and Blooms by the Paper Studio. I see a lot of people using this paper. It is just gorgeous, and it comes both in cardstock and paper, so you can go either way. I used the cardstock this time, but the paper is equally gorgeous. And I started out, I'm going to make a confession here real quick. I started out coffee dyeing all the paper that was going to go in this. And as I looked at it more with this cover, I realized I didn't like the look of the coffee dye. This is a beautiful embossed cover that I did, and I used a Waverly stencil to do this with. And this is using the Nick the Booksmith's Adventures in Booksmithing class to make this cover, but it ended up looking like chambray or faded denim. I loved how casual this cover looked. So I wanted to kind of keep it a little bit casual, and the really printing out the Beloved Society printouts on white paper, I decided I was going to go with white paper. And one of the things that I did was I actually wet down all my white paper so that it still has that look and feel of coffee dyed paper. So I'll show that to you. In the front, I just made a cute little pocket using one of the people. This is actually Tim Holtz. And these are those little flowers that I make. And so you'll see I have a pocket here, and not everything is filled. I figure I'm going to go back and journal in this and fill it in later. But I don't know if you can see that this paper is a little bit wrinkly. So I simply glued page 1 to here and added a few things. Then on this page, I went ahead and made an actual little tuck spot. And see, the tab punch works beautifully. And it talks about how am I spending my days. And so this one is talking about being present in the moment. And so I did another collage on this page. And then I've left some things blank. And you can see how kind of wrinkly the paper is. I threw in a page book, so I'm going to take you all the way through this whole journal, but a lot of it won't be as decorated as this first part. So you can see that stuff is kind of wrinkly. I did some sewing, and because I was using white, I did pink because I felt like that went great with it. Here's another little tuck spot and a tag that I made. Another journal card that I made, spending my time in the moment, to remind myself to spend time in the moment. This is a large tag, and it's just paper clipped to my tracing paper that I also water dyed, as it's called. So you can see that all these pages are water dyed, and you'll hear them better later. Again, I just made a tuck spot out of that. These are actually journaling cards that she made, and I sewed to a bigger card. And then this is just a little collage that I made. Live in this moment, appreciate life, be here now. And then this is the end, and Again, I left it blank. So we will go quickly through the rest of what is in here. I have not finished these because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, because sometimes I fold down the corner, sometimes I glue them down. Blank paper, printed music paper. This is from some journal fill-ins, a paper bag. So you can see that this is very, very empty. And then I just took, because I needed to cut 1 inch off of the 12-inch pages, I just sewed those 1-inch pieces to another page. And so we'll just kind of go through this part pretty quickly, nothing to speak of. This page is 6 inches tall, and then I took some extra cardstock from one of the other pieces and sewed them together to get my 8.5. So this is basically 8.5 by 5.5-ish, or like 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. So this is Nik the Booksmith. I printed this out. It's Shakespeare and Macbeth, and it's her pages that she did where she did the, I forget what it's called. They're hand marbled. I did sew some pockets in here. So there are some pockets. And then this is actually wax paper that I have dyed with avocado, which I love. Avocado, everyone thinks it's going to be green, but it's pink. I love that. Another signature. Again, I've left these open. Everything is very blank. There's nothing in here. This is from a book that I got online. This is actually part of the paper. It's all written in French. This is the paper out of that collection. And so you can see I have lots and lots of room to go back and add my Bible studies, as well as doing collaging or just writing down thoughts or anything like that. There's another paper bag from the Paper Studio, a different page that's an insert. This is just shy of 200 pages, so I really have a lot of room to do all kinds of journaling in here. And it's 6 signatures with 8 pages each. And I tried this time to sew the 5-hole signature. I really like how that turned out. It's a little bit more difficult than your typical 3-hole, but I really feel like it sews my pages in well and keeps everything. So more of that Nik the Booksmith and more of that cardstock just sewn onto the edges. But it keeps everything in there really well. I think I really like that. And that's the end. So I hope you have enjoyed my flip through of Beloved. I plan to come back and show you more of my spreads as I make them in here. And I probably will even do a couple of videos where I record myself putting all the spreads in here. So be sure to come back and double check. I will link below the links to the Nik the Booksmith Teachable account so that you can find out how to make these gorgeous covers yourself. I hope I have inspired you to be crafty and creative today.